Okay, so let's now that we've got your u values, what are the values of u that you've got? You got -3 when you did -9/3. You got it as -3, -2, -1, and then you got your 1, 2, and 3. Then let's multiply with uf column or fu column, whatever you call it. Okay, 2 3s -6, -8, -3, 0, 7, 8, and 6. 6, 6, 8, 8 gets cancelled. You're left with only this. So sigma fu is equal to +4. Let's substitute in here. So x bar is equal to a plus sigma fu over sigma f times h is what you're doing here. So that becomes x bar is equal to a is 75.5 plus 4 over 30 times h was 3. 3 1 times 10 times. Now this becomes easy because there was a decimal here. It becomes 755 plus 4 divided by 10. That becomes how much? 759 divided by 10. Remove the 0 from here, it becomes 75.9. So you get, because we wanted to do this calculation easy, skip the division part. That's why we chose the step deviation method. Either method you choose, you're going to get the exact same answer. So the heartbeat per minute is this. This is the mean heartbeat is 75.9 per minute would be your answer here. Okay, either method you choose. So these are the basic different methods that you have in the textbook to solve for your examination. Okay, moving ahead, we have question number 5, wherein this question is important because of the fact that this is the first time you have discontinuous data. If you can see here what is the type of data that has been given to you, you'll understand here that the data that is given is discontinuous. In the previous questions that you have seen, what did you see in the previous questions? You could see that it was 65 to 68, and 68 was coming here again and 71 was coming in here, but here it is not as such. Then what do you do to make this discontinuous data, okay, to continuous format? This is given as discontinuous format. What it is given in? It is given as discontinuous format. It is given in. Okay, so the class intervals are discontinuous. You have to make it continuous. To make it continuous, from the lower limit you reduce 0.5 and add that 0.5 to the upper limit. Okay, so to the lower limit that you have, you will subtract 0.5, and that same would be added to that 0.5 would be added to the upper limit. So each class that is going to happen. So for this class, this can be rewritten as, so I'll write number of mangoes here again. Okay, and I have number of boxes. Okay, fine. But to this, when I have to reduce, all of them will reduce by 0.5. So when I reduce this by 0.5, it becomes 40 becomes 0.5 reduced, 49.5 it becomes. Then here I'm adding it, so it becomes 52.5. Likewise, the 53 reduced means it will go down. So it now 52.5 will come here, 52.5, and this will become 55.5. Okay, then 56 reduce that, it becomes 55.5. Okay, and then here you're going to get 58.5. Okay, then I go down, I have to reduce 0.5, so it becomes 58.5, and then this becomes 61.5. Likewise, this becomes 61.5, and this becomes 64.5. This is how you get the data. What you're getting the continuous class in here. Once you have got the continuous class in this particular question, what is the next thing you're supposed to do? You're required to do your method, because you have the decimals and all of that, and that will be too difficult for you to simplify. I would suggest you to go with your your step deviation method. So let's write down the frequency. It is 15, 110, 135 is what we have, and 115 is what I have, and 25. Okay, let me just draw the lines in here so that it's a little separate for you to understand. The next column would be an X column that you would get half value from this, the middle class of this, mid values. Then you get your D column, then you get your U column, okay? And you have your FU column here. Now, in the textbooks, if you see, or in any other formats that you see, there's one catch that is happening here. And what is that catch? That catch is, oh, I'm so sorry. The catch is that we do first X, then we do the D, and then we are doing the U, right? But they have clubbed the U with the D, because the U formula is what? It is D over H. What is the D formula? The D formula is, X minus A. Instead, U can be written as X minus A over H. That's what they're directly doing here. Okay, it will take a little longer to calculate your U by the way that I'm teaching you, that you first do your X, then you do your D, then you do your U. But you will not get confused is what I feel here. Okay, I'm so sorry. I've been writing but not displaying it to you. Okay, so let's just pay attention and get our X values done. So when I find the mid class of this, it becomes 49.5 plus 52.5. That becomes 50 plus 52. 51 plus 50 plus 52 would be how much? 50 plus 52 would be 50. Oh wow, what's happening to my head now? Yeah, it becomes 50 plus 52 becomes 102. 102 divided by 2, it becomes 51. Would be the mid value of this. Exactly in the center, if I want to take it out, it is going to be 51. Okay, so I'll write 51 here, and then 52 plus 55, 0.5 becomes 1. So that becomes 53 plus 55. Then that value would be around 54. Okay, 54. This becomes 57 because I got the pattern difference here. The same pattern difference would repeat. So it becomes here 60. They're adding all by 3. So this is what I get. Then D column. What does the D column say? D is assume a mean here. So I assume this to be my assumed mean section. Okay, this is my assumed mean section. As a kid, when I learned this method, my first thing would be I'd write the zeros in here. Finished. Then I would only calculate this part, repeat the same here. So 57 minus 1, it would be 6, negative 6. I know negative values will come here. Okay, then this is 3. Okay, negative 3. Here 3 and 6 without anything, I would just write it down. Then what is my U? Divide by H. U is equal to D divided by H. What is the class interval that we have? We have the class interval of 3 here. Okay, so we'll take that 3, it becomes minus 6 minus over 3 becomes minus 2 minus 1. This becomes 1 and 2. Then you go multiplying here. So that becomes 30 minus 30, it becomes minus 110. Okay, this is the FU column that you have. Okay, and likewise you get your this thing, which is 115 plus 30. Okay, so 50, 50. Okay, so sigma FU can be taken as minus 140 plus 5, 6, 160. That turns out to be 25. Okay, and then sigma F value, have they given the sigma F value in the question? They did not give like how many fruit vendors, number of boxes have been totally checked and everything. So we would see that the sigma F, we have to add it. It becomes 125 here. Oh, we'll add it like this. 5, 20, 2, 0, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 0, and then with 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is 400 here. So the step deviation we have done, X bar is equal to A plus sigma FU over sigma F times of H. Okay, so that becomes your A value was, what was your A value? The assumed mean that you have done. It was 57. So we'll write 57 plus 25 over 400 times of 3. Now, that's a catch. Multiplication and everything becomes a little stringent here. Multiply 57 plus 75 over 400. That becomes 4 multiplies with 57. I don't know how much it is. 57 times 4, I could do it. 28, 22 plus 75. 22800 plus 75 over 400. That turns out as 22875 over 400. First, you keep these 2 points here, decimals here, zeros here only. You do the division with only 4. So 4 divides 22875. 5 times 20. 7 times 28. The next time I'm bringing down 7. 1 times 7 you get. And then 5 you have already here. 1 times 57.1. Yeah, what am I supposed to do? I did a mistake. Yeah, I held back because I understood there was a mistake that I was doing. So 4 1 times would be a 4. Then I get here 3 and I bring down the 5 here. Okay, so then it goes 8 times 32. Then 3 times you can put a decimal. You can put a decimal, take a 0. And then it would keep on going 7 times and 28 and then 2 times and 5. Okay, so you get the answer as, because there are 2 zeros, you'll bring the decimal place towards this side. So 57.18 would be your answer here. So this is the 57.18 number of boxes would be the number of boxes would be the mean that you get for this particular question. Okay, so this is pretty much it, that you can do your step deviation, you can do your assumed mean method, you can do your data methods, you know, the direct method. You can do any of these methods, you can do depending upon the calculation that is required over there. Okay, now I would want you to solve the question number 6, 7, 8 and 9 and 10, whatever, how many ever questions are there. Choose the method accordingly. And then also one thing matters is, if the question is given for 2 marks, then obviously go with the direct mean method. Don't invest your time in doing D, U, F and all of that. Okay, finish it off, get rid of it. If it is given for a little higher marks, that's like 3 and 4 marks, then go with the step deviation or the assumed mean method, as I would suggest you. Okay, so this is the way. If you have any questions and doubts in it, revert back to me on the same. Okay, now question number 7, if you just pay slight attention to it, the question number 7 of the textbook, that is given in, I would say it is given like this. 1 minute. Now when you look at this question, the question number 7, it is given in decimals. So students usually freak out, and what they do is they want to go with the step deviation method and all. But if I show you the mid values when you get, it's going to be the, when you calculate the mid values for this one, it becomes 0.02, 0.06, 0.08, 0.1, 0.12. Here you would get it as 4 is the difference, right? 1 you would get it here. Okay, and then you get it as 1, 4, and then you get it as 0.18 and 0.2 you would get. Okay, 2 is the mid values. Then it becomes quite very easy to multiply these answers. It will actually become easy. Don't go, because this is too many decimals, don't go with x, d, u, v, f and all of that. Just finish this sum directly. Next thing that you go is fx column. So that becomes 0.08. This becomes 54, 0.54, 0.9 it becomes. This becomes 0.28. This becomes a 0.72 it becomes, and then this multiplies and it becomes 0.44. Take your sigma fx, do your sigma f, and substitute it, find the answer directly. So when you have too much of decimals also, then you have to choose a simpler method so that you don't get confused while calculating your D's in your U's. Okay, so this is about the chapter that we have. Okay, I think 9 questions are there in the textbook, and so it will be easy for you to simplify it and finish it off with. Okay, so let's move to the next part of this chapter, which is the mode. How do you calculate the mode for this one? Let's do that. Okay, so moving ahead to the exercise 13.1, one question, the first question that we have is, we'll be doing the Adi Sharma questions also, so that we can get an idea which method to choose. Okay, but before all of that, let's just see a certain things here. Now, the choosing of the method, like what are we supposed to actually be choosing? Data mean, assumed mean, or your step deviation method. So if you see, look at the question over here, this is the first question. It says that a survey was conducted and students of their environment awareness program, where they collected the data regarding the number of plants growing in houses. Okay, and find the mean number of plants per house is what they're asking. So for this particular statement, if you see, I'll first calculate my x column. Okay, x column is ul plus ll, that is the upper limit plus the lower limit divided by 2. Okay, so what do? I get it as 1 here, then I get it as 3 here, then I get it as 5, 7, 9, 11, 13 is what I get. Now these numbers are very easy to multiply, aren't they? So since they're very easy to multiply, I can multiply, because the data set that I have, the frequency is very less here. So they have only surveyed 20 houses. So that is 20 is easily divided. So I'll calculate my fx column here. Okay, fx here, xf column, 1 times 1, 6, 5, 35, 54, 22, and it becomes 39. Okay, then it again becomes quite very easy for me to add up these values, and since once the method is done, there's no much more calculation that you're required to do, isn't it? What is the further calculation? It would require sigma fx would be required, and sigma f, as I've told you already, that when we are doing the questions, the sigma f will be given in most of the questions. They will say 20 houses were surveyed, 15 students were conducted a test for, they'll say the 10 students were tested positive, tested their blood, and questions like this will come. And you have grouped data here, you have the frequency given, the total frequency is also given. Since the data is small, you choose the direct mean method and you are simplifying it. So when you do the fx column, 9 plus 2 becomes 11, 11 4 is 15, 15 5 is 20, 25, 31, 32 would be the answer here. So here it goes as 32, and 3 3 6, 6 plus 5 is 11, 11 plus 2 becomes 13, 13 plus 3 is 162. Okay, so now substituting in the formula, x bar represents your mean. Okay, so if you want to write mean, MEAN, you can do this instead. Okay, so the formula is sigma fx over sigma f. So fine, let's go. 162 over 20. So let's start reducing it. It becomes 8 1 times, and then you get 8.1, because there's denominator over here. 8.1 is the mean. So 8.1 number of plants are there. So 8.1 plants per house is what you would write here. Okay, and that's it, done with the question here. So since the data was very small, you chose the question to do in this particular way with the direct mean method. So the method used here is the direct mean method has been chosen here. Okay, now going to the second question is, if you look at the second question of the worksheet that we have of the exercise, the second question of the exercise a little cryptic. Okay, so when we look at the second question of the exercise, this is the second question. This has been solved separately in the step deviation method video. Okay, and then what we see here is, because the data was very big, you're getting 510, 530, 55, 550, 570 multiplication. This data set also was higher, because there was 50 number of 50 workers were surveyed. So this data was quite a big data. So what did we do? We went, since it was the biggest of all the data that we have, we went with the step deviation method and we simplified it. This is for the second question itself. Okay, now let's move to the next question, which is the third question of the exercise. Okay, when we look at the third question of the exercise, what we see is in this particular question, the what do you say?
Ma'am, maybe there's a portrait problem.
There is a missing frequency that has been given. What is given over here? There is a missing frequency that has been given for you. Now you are required to calculate this missing frequency. Questions as such, when they come, I would suggest you to go with the normal method, or the what do you call it, the direct mean method. Okay, so we'll calculate the x value. This becomes 12 here, this becomes 14, 16, 18, 20, 20. After 20 it becomes 22 and 24. Then now I still see the multiplication is going to be too little difficult for me. So what I would do is I first decided I would go with the direct mean method, but still as I proceeded and I saw that the calculation would be still difficult for me to solve, I am going with the assumed mean method. So I will assume my mean, and where am I supposed to assume my mean? In the centermost position. So this is where I will be assuming my mean. I am extending it so that it becomes easy for me to write the zeros here. Okay, so this is my A. I will write x minus A in this particular column, and that becomes 18 minus 12 is 6, -6, -4, -2 you get. Then the same values with a positive sign. Here you get a 2, you get a 4, and you get a 6. Then what's your next column that you're supposed to do? Now it's quite easy for me to multiply these two, isn't it? Small numbers, I can do that. Okay, so I'd go with the FD column. Okay, so when I go with the FD column, this is the assumed mean method. What are we following in here? We are following the assumed mean method here. Okay, so when I do this 7 6, how much? 7 6 is 50, 7 6 is 42, 42 I have. Then 6 14 times, 6 4 times I have to do. 6 4 is minus 24 I have. Then 9 2 times is minus 18 I have. This becomes anyways 0, because 13 times 0 is 0. Then you have here 2f, and then you have here 20, and you have here 24. So what actually is going to happen is when I add these two, but here pay attention, this 24, this 24 I need not add. Why is that so? Because they can cancel each other, exactly same, so they can cancel it off. Okay, so let's find the sigma FD now. So we'll add up all the negatives that I have. This becomes 2 plus 8 is 0. Okay, alhamdulillah. And then 4 plus 1 is 5, plus 1 becomes 60, -60, plus 2f plus 20. Okay, so you can simplify this both, and it still becomes -40 plus 2f is what you get for the sigma FD. Okay, so sigma FD have calculated. Sigma f is already known to us, not known to us. They have not given the value of this f over here for me. The total frequency, because the frequency is missing. If they give, then I can calculate. No, if they said 40 people were surveyed, I will add up all and subtract from 40, I'll get my f. So they did not do it, so I have to calculate. 6 6 12 13. 13 plus 9 is 13 plus 9 would be 22. 22 plus 13 comes in here again. 22 plus 13 would be 22 plus 13 35, 35 40 44. Okay, so you get 44 plus f is what you got. Now the formula is x bar is equal to a plus sigma fd over sigma f. Okay, my assumed mean is 18 plus sigma fd is, we can write it as 2f minus 40 divided by 44 plus f. Okay, so what we are doing in here, for this particular question, they have given that the mean is, because if see, the mean is not given, f is not given, two unknowns you cannot find out, right? So if you read the question, they have given the mean already, and they said that the mean pocket allowance is rupees 18. So x bar is given to me as 18 here. So I'll substitute here. Okay, so 18 is equal to 18 plus 2f minus 40 by 44 plus f. This 18 we can get rid of. What am I left with? I'm left with 2f minus 40 by 44 plus f is what I'm left with here. Okay, so simplifying it further, it becomes a 0 here if they get cancelled, and this goes here, this multiplies with 0, and that also becomes a 0. Okay, so you are ultimately left with this 2f minus 40 is also equal to 0. Send it towards the other side. 2f is equal to 40, then f is equal to how much? 40 over 2, that is 20 is what you have here. So this is the missing frequency. And the missing frequency questions, we started by thinking that we can do the assumed mean method, but eventually direct mean method, but eventually we ended up doing the assumed mean method because that was easier, isn't it? So that's how you can switch with the questions and get the simplified ones done. Okay, so we have the question number 4 written over here. Now in the question number 4, again, as I see that this is the mean question that they are asking me to solve, and furthermore ahead that the question is what I can say is the question is already noted down here. Okay, what is the first thing that I'm supposed to do? I have to get the class the mid value of the class. Okay, so when I find the mid value of the class, that rose as x, then that would be how much? Here it is going to be 68. I cannot do the cannot calculate it directly. So what am I doing? What am I supposed to do it? I'm supposed to take down the upper value plus the lower value divided by 2, and that turns out to be my 66.5. Okay, so this turns out to be my 66.5. Okay, fine. So it becomes 66.5, then this becomes 67 is here, 68 is here already, so it becomes 67.5, 69.5, sorry, 69.5 for this one. Then it becomes 72.5. Okay, you can calculate it and you can write it down. We have 75.5, then we have 78.5, then we have 81.5, and we have 84.5. These are the values that you have. Once you've done with your x, the values are still bigger for me to solve. What am I going to do? I will switch the method. I am switching to D method, wherein assumed mean method. So I assume my mean to be somewhere in the center, 3 up, 3 below. So this is somewhere in the center. When I say that, it's actually the center that I'm going to pick it up. Okay, so let me just do that. So this is my assumed mean. I have my value here. Okay, so this minus this, it becomes 66.5 minus 7.5. 0.5 gets cancelled, and I would be left with a minus 9. Okay, so here there's going to be a 0. This will also have a difference of, let's see, 72.5 minus this 0.5 gets cancelled, difference of minus 6 you get, minus 6, and difference of this minus 3 would come here. The same difference, without any hesitation, I can write it down here. What it would be? It would be 3, 6, and 9. Still, I feel that the values are too big for me to solve. Okay, so what am I supposed to do? I can stop here, do the assumed mean method. I can go ahead and I can do the step deviation method also. Okay, so parallelly we'll do both of the methods in here. Okay, assumed mean method, and we have the step deviation method. For the assumed mean method, this is enough for me. Okay, I just need to calculate one more column, that is FD column. Right, so FD column, if I'm doing it, let me just take a paper here so that we can do our FD column here. Yes, I'll keep the paper like this and we'll create our FD column, and let's try doing the thing. So FD column, when I'm doing it, I'm doing both the methods in this particular question. So FD method is minus 18 here, then minus 24, and then minus 9 here, then 8 0 0, and then 7 3 is 21, 6 4 is 24, and 18. So what do I see? 18 gets cancelled, this and this gets cancelled. I am left with only sigma FD as my 21 minus 9. 21 minus 9 is 1, and 8 12. So I get a positive 12 here. Okay, pardon. Okay, so what am I going to do? I'm going to calculate my sigma f from here. The sigma f value have they given in the question. Let me see the question first. And they said that doctors per heartbeat per minute, and find heartbeat. You have to find the mean heartbeat per minute of the person. They did not give me, so I have to add here. So that becomes how much? Yeah, that was my FD column, right? That becomes 2 plus 4 is 2 plus 4 is 6, 6 plus 3 9, 9 plus 8 is 17, 17 plus 4 is 20, 17,
Thank you, I found it.
17 plus 4 will be 24, 24, 28, 30. So I get it 30 here. What is the assumed mean method? The assumed mean method is x bar is equal to a plus sigma fd over sigma f. A is 75.5 plus fd value is 12 over 30. Okay, isn't it? So let's take the multiplication in here. That goes 30 when it multiplies. 3 5s are 15, then 3 5s are 15, 16, then 21, 22. Decimal goes off plus 12. So the x bar value that we are getting for this particular question should be around over 30 after right now. Over 30. I'm missing the 30 again and again. So that becomes 7 and 7 to 2 divided by 30. So let's do the thing here. Okay, let's do the division now. So when I do the division of it, 2277 divides 30. 30 divides my 2277. 30 ones are, you cannot go. 30 times 10, you cannot go. 30 times 8, 240, still bigger. 30 times 7, 7 is 20, 210, isn't it? So this goes 7 here, 1 here, and 7. Then 30 times 12, 5s. 3 5s are 15, and 1 0 will come here. So you're left with 7, and you're left with 2. Put a decimal, take a 0, then that goes as 9 times 270. I'm doing 3 9s are 27 and adding another 0 here. Okay, so I get my answer from the assumed mean is 75.9. Okay, so this is what is the assumed mean method. But I said we'll do the step deviation method also. So let's check for the step deviation method now. Okay, for the step deviation, I need to take a U column. U column I'll take, which is D upon H I'll do. So D is this, H is how much? H is, what is the H value that we'll get here? 3, right? H, the class interval is 3. So fine, we'll take H is equal to 3. I'll write here and I will start doing it. So 9 over 3 is minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0. Now, moving ahead to the next question, I wanted to end the topic of mean for the statistics chapter, but then I came across the 8th question of the exercise 1, wherein what do we see is this particular class intervals that is given to us, they are not having a fixed structure. If you can see the first one, it goes from 0 to 6. The second, that means the range over here is 6, okay, or the class height is 6 here. So height of the class is 6 here. The height of the class is 4 here. The class height is 4 here. The class height is 6 again. The class height is 8 here. Okay, and here the class height is 10. So it is a varying class height is given to you. Then further than that, what we have is, then in this scenario, what we're supposed to do is, what method are we going to choose in here? We are going to use the direct mean method. You would not be doing the step deviation method or the assumed mean method. Okay, you have to go with the direct mean method. So let's take then the frequencies that is given to us. Okay, and so the frequencies are given as this. So what is the first thing they have to calculate? I have to calculate the mid value or the class mark, you can say. So that becomes 0 plus 6 over 2. That becomes 3. Then that is 4. 6 plus this is 6 plus 10 plus 6 is 16. 16 over 2 is 8. Likewise, 24 over this becomes 12 over 2. Then this becomes 34 over 2, 17 it becomes here. This becomes 48 over 2, that is equal to 24. This is 66 it becomes. 66 over 2 becomes 33. And we have 78 over 2 for this one. 78 over 2, that becomes 39 is what we get for this one. Then what's the next column that we're supposed to calculate? We are supposed to calculate the frequency in the x column, right? So that becomes 33. You know how to do it. 80 it becomes, then it is 84, then this becomes 68, then this becomes 96, we have 99 later on, and then we have 39. So we'll do the sigma fx in here. So when we do the sigma fx, that's 3, 7, 7, 7, 14, 15, 15, 21, 30, 39 is what you get. 9 here. 3, 3, 6. 6 plus 8 is 14. 14 plus 28. 28 would become 37. 37 becomes 46, 49. So 499 you get, and this complete frequency, the sigma f that is given to us is, because he said in the question that 40 students have been taken into the survey here, so you get it like this. So ignore the mess of my hands over here. So that becomes sigma fx over sigma f would be the mean here, because we are following the direct mean method. That becomes 499 divided by 40. So we'll first divide with 499 with 4. 4 ones 4, then you bring down the 9, and 2's 8, 1, 9, then 4's 12, okay, then you have here 7, put a decimal, take a 0, that becomes 70. How many times does it go? 8 times it goes. 8 times you can go. 4 8s. No, I've done some mistake here. Put a decimal and take this. So 4 ones we can go, right? I'm doing some mistake here. 4 ones 4, that's gone. Got my mistake. I took 4 4s, 16 I was supposed to take, and I took here 12. So that's 3. I was having a doubt that we have here. So that goes as 30, and then we have to go with 8 times, and no, 7 times we'll go with here. Okay, 7 times will go as 28. Then you have 2 decimals here, 5 times. So that is 0 here. So you get the answer as 124.75 divided by 10 is still there. The 4 you used, the 10 is here. You split the 40 as 4 divided by 4 into times 10. Okay, over 499. You did this part, the 10 is still there. So this brings it here. So it becomes 12.475 would be your answer for this. This is the mean of the absent students on that particular day. Okay, on those days. So this is the average of the students that are coming out, leaving the school on days. Okay, so this is there. And likewise, there is one more question that is being asked, wherein there'll be no frequency, there is no class interval given. This is the example 1 of the textbook. Okay, so example 1 is given over here. Let me just take it. Okay, this is the question wherein there is no class interval that is given to you, or you can just say that there is just random pieces of information given over here. They're saying that they have been conducting a mathematics test for 100 marks they have conducted, and since my page was small, I couldn't take it beyond this. So the students that got 10 marks is 1, 20 marks is 1, 30 marks is 3 students, 40 marks 4 students got it. Okay, and we have 50 marks were scored by 3 students, and 56 marks were scored by 2 students, and so on and so forth is here. Okay, then the next thing, what am I going to do here? I have to just take, this is my x column, right, the class interval, because in the questions that we have seen here, the class interval was not there. There was not a fixed number. They gave me in a particular interval format, like 5 to 6 and 6 to 7 they gave it, or let's say 50 to 60 they gave it. They did not give me a particular value to multiply my frequency with. So that is why we took out the mid value from there, or we took out the class interval there. Okay, we used the class interval to calculate the mid value over there. Okay, so class mark we took out from here. Mid value is also called as the class mark. What it is called as? It is called as the class mark, denoted by x. Here the x is already given to you and the frequency is there. So what do? I'll first multiply the fx column. Okay, so when I do the fx column, it becomes 10, 20, 90, 160, 150, 211, then it becomes 240, then it becomes 280, then it becomes 72. Then what am I supposed to do? Again the same thing, sigma fx over sigma f. Okay, let's do the sigma f that I have 1, 2, 5, 9, 12, 14, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So 23, for here it is 23. And let's add this up. That goes as in the ones place, 2 2s 4, 2 plus 2 4, 4 goes here. Then 7, 7, 14, 15, 15, 19, 20, 25, 31, 40, 42, 43. So 4 and 3 you get. Then you have hundreds ka place mein 2, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, 10, 11. So 1, 1, 3, 4, so you get. So you add, I'm not going to use the calculator, but we can just finish it off. To finish it off, 1, 1, 3, 4 divided by 23. You get this in decimal format, that is 49.3 is the answer that you're getting. So let's do the division also and see how does it go about. So 23 I'm dividing with 1, 1, 3. So 1, 1, 3, 4 is being divided by 23. That goes as 23 times of 4, because we have the answer here. 4 times 4 3s 2. It will be a 3-digit number. 8, 9. So 92 is what you get. So 23 times 4 is 92. We get it as 92. So when we subtract from 113, how much does it become? We need to borrow it here. No, we don't need to borrow it. It becomes 1 here, and 11 minus this is 21, and then bring down the 4 over here. Then we have to take it from 9. So 23 times 9 would be how much? It would be 3 9s 27, and then 3 18 19 20. 207 is what you get. You are left with 7 here, and then you put a decimal, you take a 0. 70 is 3 times, you can say 3 times, yes, 23 times 3, that 9s and 69, 1 is left, so you can stop it here. You can have to take 2 zeros here. Why is that you're taking 2 zeros? Is because 10, if you're taking 1 0, 10 wouldn't come, and since you're taking 2 zeros, you have to put another 0 here. These are the basic definitions of your thing that we have been doing all this while. And then that goes 5 times, so it goes 5 here, and then 11, no, it goes 2 5 10, 11 12. Four times that we are supposed to take, I guess. So 23 times 4 is going to be how much? It's going to be 92 here. Okay, 92, 8, and then it keeps on going. So this much is here. This is the end of your mean part. So let's start with your mode.